suspect is now extradited and behind bars.
Detectives will finally sleep tonight after this person has been brought to justice here in New York City.
Luigi Mangione arrives in New York City heavily guarded by NYPD officers and FBI agents. He's also now facing new federal charges in the murder of the UnitedHealthcare CEO. Supporters lined up outside as he faced a judge. What we're learning about those charges, including the one that could result in the death penalty if he's convicted. Plus, just days before Christmas, thousands of Amazon drivers are on strike from coast to coast. Drivers are off the job at facilities in major areas like New York, Atlanta, and San Francisco. What this could mean for holiday deliveries. And
what happens if down the road this is proven to be undue panic about nothing?
That's an impossibility because there has been something. They can't discount all these sightings.
The FAA is now banning drones over parts of New Jersey as reports of mysterious activity in the sky continue. Our Jay O'Brien travels to the epicenter of the sighting, speaking to experts who say everything is not what it seems. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are tracking that looming government shutdown in Washington, a key vote that just failed. But we begin with the suspect in that CEO murder case, now in federal custody here in New York. Luigi Mangione waived extradition in Pennsylvania this morning, was immediately flown to a Long Island airport and then by helicopter to New York City. He appeared before a federal judge in a matter of hours. The scene at the East River helipad when he arrived, Mangione handcuffed and shackled, escorted by dozens of officers, some of them heavily armed, from the chopper to the waiting van and then to federal court. There to meet him, Mayor Eric Adams, an NYPD's police commissioner who had promised to bring him in. But first, Mangione faces federal charges, one of them murder with use of a firearm. That could make Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. What comes next? We're standing by for legal analysis with Arthur Aidala. But first, ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky leads us off from the courthouse.
Tonight, an extraordinary journey for the accused killer of UnitedHealthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson. It began this morning in Pennsylvania, where Luigi Mangione gave up his fight against extradition to New York City. And within minutes, police whisking him by motorcade to a nearby airport and onto a waiting plane for the short flight to New York. The 26-year-old Ivy League grad then delivered by chopper right to a helipad in Lower Manhattan, where the FBI, the mayor, and the NYPD were waiting.
Some of these detectives will finally sleep tonight after this person has been brought to justice here in New York City.
Shackled and surrounded by officers with long guns, Mangione was slowly escorted along a pier to a police van for the short ride to federal court. Inside, he changed out of the orange jumpsuit and into khakis and a sweater. Alert, but perhaps nervous, Mangione mainly kept his head down as he was charged with stalking and murdering Brian Thompson, a 50-year-old father of 2 boys. If convicted, Mangione could face the death penalty. Prosecutors quoted entries in a notebook police said they recovered from Mangione that read like a countdown to murder. One from August reads, "The details are finally coming together. The target is insurance because it checks every box." In October, 1.5 months. This investor conference is a true windfall. The complaint says the notebook describes an intent to whack the CEO of one of the insurance companies at its investor conference. The complaint laid out a trove of evidence, including hundreds of hours of video footage that suggests the shooter undertook extensive efforts to identify the victim, place the victim under surveillance, and track the victim's whereabouts, leading to the assassination-style killing on the sidewalk. Mangione did not enter a plea.
We're going to respectfully decline to make any comment at this time, but Mr. Mangione appreciates everyone's support. Thank you so much.
Outside courthouses in New York and Pennsylvania, Mangione's supporters denounced the health insurance industry.
He's awoken the people to a true issue, and when the masses come together is when change can really happen.
Tonight, the mayor of New York says protest is one thing, violence is another.
You don't use a gun. And anyone that celebrates that, it is vile and it is sending the wrong message, and you're celebrating using violence to solve an issue.
Aaron Katursky joins us now from outside the courthouse. Aaron, where is Mangione being held now?
He's in federal custody tonight, Lindsay. Actually, the same Brooklyn jail currently housing Sean Combs. And I was with Mangione in court here today. He did appear docile, maybe a bit nervous, didn't say much, thumbed through the criminal complaint that he is charged with. It appeared no family came here to see him. Lindsay?
That's very interesting. All right, Aaron Katersky, our thanks to you. Now let's get right to criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala for a closer look at this case. Great to have you, as always. I know you got a chance to see the criminal complaint. What stood out to you?
What really stood out was the fact that it exists. It is very rare on this is a straight-up murder case, right? I mean, the Manhattan DA's office is talking about terrorism. That's ridiculous. The feds almost never get involved in a straight-up like murder assassination case. So they have the ability to do so, and they did so here. But there are real like double jeopardy issues. He's charged basically with murder in 2 jurisdictions. And that is not the way things usually play out. And you know, Lindsay, it saddens me a little bit because what it shows to me is that justice is not blind. You know, here in New York City, I think a week before this took place, some guy stabbed and killed 3 people. 3 people in the morning rush hour. Poor guy's fishing, he stabs him, another construction worker, another woman is just going to work. And yet, we didn't see the mayor involved with that. I mean, we did immediately when he was caught. We didn't see the feds talking about, well, we're going to go after this guy. We didn't see district attorneys saying you killed 3 different people. We're going to find a way to charge you with murder in the 1st degree. But here you have a highly educated young man, comes from a prestigious family. You have he's a CEO who's dead, not an Asian man who's fishing who's dead. You know, it's just not the way it normally is.
And because you feel that it's because this is a higher profile case because of who the victim was?
Yeah, who the victim is and now who the defendant is, absolutely. And it's just, I'm a little idealistic, and I feel like cases should be treated the same. And this case is being treated in an extraordinary manner. I was at the courthouse today. There was pandemonium. They didn't know, was he going to the state courthouse or was he going to the federal courthouse? The defense attorney asked the judge, like, Judge, I thought I was going across the street. I know Karen well. I thought I was going across the street to the state courthouse. Why am I here? And the judge said, I'm not really sure.
So you would agree with her then, because she has said, Mangione's attorney, that the federal charges are a pile-on and that this raises issues of double jeopardy, which you just mentioned.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, Lindsay, I'm trying to, in preparation for this segment, I was trying to think of another situation where things have happened. Years ago, when there was the riots in Brooklyn, and it was a young Jewish man who was killed by a black man, and there were all racial things going on. After the acquittal in state court, they then brought charges in federal court, but under a Civil Rights Act, not under a straight-up murder act. Here, it's like the same crime in 2 jurisdictions. That's basically un-American.
If you were to be defending Luigi Mangione, thoughts on a defense?
I mean, the first thing you have to do is his mental health. I mean, in state court, when you go and do an arraignment, you could ask a judge immediately to have your client evaluated by a doctor appointed by the judge to see if he's mentally fit to even go forward. Then you hire your own experts and you try to correlate his back pain, which was apparently debilitating, and how it would affect the human brain so that the brain breaks, and you just try to go for mitigation, Lindsay. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a defense here that he didn't do it. It's going to be, he did it, his brain broke, and instead of him spending life in prison or in the feds, the death penalty, let's put him away for a long time, but not forever.
Aaron Katersky described him as docile and stone-faced in court. Any thoughts of...
He's got to be in shock. Think about where he was today. He started off in Pennsylvania. You're in shackles there. You're in front of a judge there in handcuffs and ankle braces. Then you get on a plane. You fly to Long Island. Then you get on a helicopter. You come here. You land. There's the mayor with... See all the security around him? I mean, I don't know if President-elect Trump has that amount of security around him. I'm not being facetious. So he's got to be in a state of shock. And he's meeting all these people now for the first time. There's strangers all around. And he's in a very strange environment. He's in a federal courthouse with a federal judge. And tomorrow, the next day, he's going to be in a state courthouse. So and where he is right now is not a pleasant place to be in the Metropolitan Detention Center. I don't like going there as a visitor, God forbid, as an inmate.
Arthur Aidala, always appreciate your time and insight. Thank you so much. And we should note our special airing tonight, Manhunt, Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder, a special edition of 2020. We take you inside this case, including new details and new reporting. That is tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Now we turn to the looming government shutdown, one day after Democrats thought that they'd hammered out a deal with Republicans until Elon Musk and President-elect Trump tanked it. Republicans spent the day trying to all get on the same page today, but a vote on new spending just failed. The government runs out of money tomorrow night, and some 3.5 million federal workers could go without paychecks this holiday season until an agreement is reached. What comes next after that failed vote? Our chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reports from Washington.
Tonight, 24 hours after billionaire Elon Musk and President-elect Donald Trump blew up a bipartisan plan to avoid a government shutdown, Musk threatening that any lawmaker who backed it deserves to be voted out. House Republicans say they've come up with a new plan.
All I can tell you is we have an agreement.
But Democrats don't back the new plan, and it's unclear it even has enough Republican support to pass, which means that late tomorrow night, the government could still shut down, leaving millions of federal workers, including military families, without their paychecks heading into Christmas.
Did you speak with Trump last night?
In the middle of it all, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who had been preparing to pass a temporary spending bill with Democrats to keep the government running. But when Musk got wind of that, he launched a relentless attack on his social media network X, calling the bill a crime. Trump then followed Musk's lead and upped the ante, ordering Republicans to add a completely unrelated provision, telling them to raise the national borrowing limit now before he gets into office. He doesn't want to fight that battle early next year, while he's also trying to get tax cuts and start mass deportations. There won't be anything approved unless the debt ceiling is done with. The president-elect told ABC's John Carl, if we don't get it, then we're going to have a shutdown. But for some Republicans we spoke with, raising the debt ceiling now is a non-starter.
There's at least 20, 30 Republicans who are not for raising the debt. Not for raising the debt ceiling. I think it's a non-starter, actually.
On Capitol Hill tonight, the frustration palpable.
I think shutting down the government is masterclass dumb, and I don't want to do it.
Democrats telling me the new House Republican plan, which includes Trump's demand to raise the debt limit, is a joke. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries saying he's not just a no, but a hell no.
The Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable. Extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown.
Now caught in limbo, families like the Bittners of Austin, Texas.
I have a mortgage payment still due January 1st. They don't care.
Jennifer's husband, Army Lieutenant Colonel Randall Bittner, could see his paycheck dry up if the government shuts down. Tonight, this is her message to President-elect Trump, Elon Musk, and Congress.
As a military family that we are not truly thought of. Our stories aren't thought of. Our lives aren't thought of. When these things happen, when you have things like the government shutdown coming up. I can't put into words how difficult it is to think that our livelihoods can just be thought of as a pawn.
So many families hang in the balance. Mary Bruce joins us now from the Capitol. Mary, we know that this vote just failed, so it's back to the drawing board. What comes next?
What we know we have right now, Linsey, is just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questions, but not a whole lot of answers here on the Hill. That bill, despite a renewed sense of optimism from House Republicans, did just fail. Democrats, as expected, largely united against it. Just 2 Democrats voting for it, and dozens of Republicans opposing it. 38 Republicans bucking and opposing Donald Trump to oppose this bill. The question now, of course, is what comes next. This was their plan B. It failed. What is plan C? We simply don't know. We are now just over 24 hours away from that shutdown. Everyone now looking to Trump and Musk to see what they should do next. Linsey.
All right, so much uncertainty. Mary Bruce from the Capitol, and we want to stay there in Washington, D.C. and join Jay O'Brien, who's on the steps of the Capitol, talking with Republican Bob Good. Let's listen in.
And the debt limit must not be increased without commensurate spending cuts and fiscal reforms.
But if Donald Trump
wanted to suspend the debt limit, why did you defy him on that?
I just gave you my thoughts on it.
But if Donald Trump won't support a clean resolution, Congressman, where does that leave Republicans?
Well, we'll see what they bring to the floor next, but we've got to cut our spending, and it's got to be more than just campaign talking points.
What do you make of Elon Musk's involvement in all of this, and do you think he's been a good influence on Congress or not?
I do, and what gives me hope for next year is that with what Musk and Ramaswamy are doing is the ability to expose Republicans who fail to demonstrate a willingness to cut spending and to hopefully put primary money behind Republicans who are unwilling to cut spending.
So, Linsey, we're going to peel out of this here. That was, again, Bob Good, Congressman of Virginia, one of the 30-plus no votes on this temporary government funding measure that was cobbled together by Speaker Johnson at the 11th hour because Donald Trump opposed his previous effort to try to fund the government with that temporary funding measure. And you heard me ask Congressman Good there, what happens if Donald Trump doesn't back a clean extension of government funding, which means an extension of government funding with nothing else attached, which is what the spending hawks, those no votes in Johnson's own party, have been pushing for. And the reason I ask that is because Donald Trump has said he does not want to fund the government in this temporary measure without also a raising of the debt ceiling. He threw that in last minute yesterday and made that demand. That's what Johnson tried to do here and failed. So it puts Mike Johnson back at square one, especially if Donald Trump sticks firmly to that demand that he wants any temporary extension of government funding to be linked to a raising of the debt ceiling, because that, Linsey, is not going to get Democratic votes, and it's not going to get those hardline spending hawks on Mike Johnson's right support, and it's going to mean that we're pretty much nowhere, Linsey.
What a scramble that remains ahead. All right, Jay O'Brien, our thanks to you. A Georgia appeals court has disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from the election interference case against Donald Trump and his alleged co-conspirators. The court said that the ruling was due to, quote, a significant appearance of impropriety stemming from her close relationship with the prosecutor she hired, Nathan Wade. Willis's office said that they intend to appeal the ruling to the state Supreme Court. The criminal indictment against President-elect Trump and his co-conspirators still stands. Now to the protests at Amazon facilities coast to coast just days before Christmas. Drivers are on strike targeting facilities in New York, Atlanta, Illinois, and California. What exactly are their demands, and will the strike affect you getting your gifts when they need to be on time? Here's our Trevor Ault.
We're doing this for you.
Tonight, many outside drivers hired by Amazon coast to coast walking off the job just days before Christmas and New Year's.
Corporate greed has got to go.
Workers who deliver packages from 7 Amazon facilities now on strike.
We don't have any Christmas presents under the trees this year because the wages, the hours that we get working for Amazon just simply aren't enough to get by.
Our Matt Gutman in California.
You can see these picketers are blocking this Amazon facility here. They say they'll stay as long as it takes because they are overworked and underpaid.
The Teamsters Union is accusing Amazon of insatiable greed, saying the company ignored a December 15th deadline to come to the bargaining table for better pay and working conditions. Faith Abube in Georgia, speaking to driver Thomas Hickman, who says he fractured his ankle on the job.
They didn't care about the well-being of, they was more worried about the packages being delivered.
Amazon does not recognize the Teamsters as a union representing their employees and says it won't negotiate with them, accusing many demonstrators of being outsiders. While most of the drivers we spoke with do work for third-party delivery companies hired by Amazon, they say they wear Amazon uniforms, drive Amazon vehicles, and many exclusively deliver boxes from Amazon.
I dress in Amazon uniform, I ride in an Amazon van, and I deliver Amazon packages.
And Amazon tonight insists the strike has had no impact on their deliveries.
Christmas is on track, and we fully expect to be able to fulfill our delivery promises for our customers.
So many relying on those Amazon truck sleighs. Trevor Ault joins us now from an Amazon warehouse here in Queens, New York. Trevor, explain what happened there today.
Yeah, so it was overwhelmingly peaceful so far, Linsey, when we saw these demonstrations, but there were a few tense moments, including 2 picketers that were arrested by the NYPD for blocking some Amazon vehicles. The police then set up these barricades. Now, the picketing, of course, as you can see and hear, is still going on, and they say they're going to be right back here tomorrow, Linsey.
All right, Trevor Ault for us. Thanks so much, Trevor. Giselle Pellico captured the world's attention in a case where her husband and 50 other men were accused of drugging and either sexually assaulting or raping her in a pattern of abuse that spanned 9 years. And today, inside a French courtroom, all of the accused were found guilty. Her husband, Dominique, was given the maximum sentence of 20 years. The other 50 co-defendants were sentenced to between 3 and 15 years. After months of bravely testifying, Pellico became the face of resilience and courage for abuse survivors worldwide. Her case ignited the saying in France, shame must change sides. If you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence, support is available at the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673. Pentagon spokesman Major General Pat Ryder surprised Americans today by acknowledging there are currently 2,000 U.S. troops in eastern Syria, not 900, as the Pentagon has always stated publicly. Ryder claimed the doubling of forces happened prior to the downfall of Bashar al-Assad's government. There were no specific dates as to when this increase occurred, but reporters were told the additional troops are only temporary to supplement U.S. operations against ISIS. After weeks of reports of mysterious sights in the sky in the Northeast, the FAA is now banning drones over parts of New Jersey due to special security concerns. The FAA says that flying a drone without government permission in 22 areas is now illegal, and authorities may use deadly force against any drones that pose an imminent security threat. And while the recent reports have caused growing concerns, experts warn not every sighting is what it seems. R.J. O'Brien went to Morris County, New Jersey, the epicenter of this story, to figure it all out. And we should note, ABC News cannot verify what purported videos of drone sightings really show.
December 4th.
This cluster of lights you're looking at in the night sky weren't just captured by anyone.
You can see this red blinking light.
They were spotted and recorded by the man in charge around here, Mayor Sam Morris of Mine Hill, New Jersey.
Hard to believe it until you saw it yourself?
It wasn't so much a matter of doubting. It was a matter of, maybe it's a plane, maybe it's a drone from an enthusiast.
Dozens upon dozens of sightings just like the mayor's are now happening across New Jersey. Many onlookers believing they're seeing kinds of drones. And the reports are spreading beyond the Garden State to several others, catching fire on social media and igniting the nation's imagination.
New reporting on these mysterious drone sightings.
Something strange is going on.
We can't figure out who's flying the drones.
But whatever's going on is putting New Jerseyans on edge.
Nobody has answers, and it's been going on for a really long time.
Like, somebody knows. Somebody knows what these things are.
The sightings began in mid-November, the mayor says.
Why New Jersey, do you think?
Well, New Jersey's asking that. Somebody's got to know something.
A high-flying mystery thrusting Mayor Morris into the spotlight and putting Mine Hill and the rest of northern New Jersey smack in the middle of the epicenter of these so-called sightings.
They're obvious, they're everywhere, and it's almost like they're sticking their tongue out at us.
You think someone is behind this?
100%.
That is the exact opposite conclusion of the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, which received roughly 5,000 drone-related tips and found less than 100 to be credible. Of those investigated sightings, officials say they could be explained.
We assess that these drones, these aircraft people are seeing, are a mix of law enforcement drones, commercial drones, and hobbyists. We continue to see nothing that indicates a public safety risk or a national security risk.
Among the most concerning to lawmakers, recent incidents confirmed by the Department of Defense where drones were spotted near at least 2 New Jersey military installations. But the Pentagon says that's not a new problem for their bases, and they've responded by deploying counter-drone technology. And federal officials remain adamant there's no evidence of any threat or a greater conspiracy.
How did you feel when you heard that?
Angry. You can't speak in absolutes. Yeah. Because you're basically saying every single one of you people is seeing things and you're off.
What happens if down the road this is proven to be undue panic about nothing?
That's an impossibility because there has been something. They can't discount all these sightings.
Of course, why would they tell us anything?
Lisa Palouse feels she knows what she saw.
Look at that. It's smoking
Most clear nights, Lisa captures video after video of what she says are drones passing right over her back porch.
I don't know what that is.
It's got wings and it's got...
Well, I mean, it could be a drone. I don't know.
Can I tell you the guy's not true? It kind of looks like a plane.
Yes, but when I looked on my app, there was no plane in sight.
ABC's visual verification team reviewed these videos recorded by Lisa and determined they're most likely planes that were filmed when commercial and other aircraft were over or near her home. And those flight apps now used by Lisa and countless other New Jerseyans to track what they're seeing in the sky can be misleading, and some aircraft are even missed on certain apps, says ABC News aviation expert John Nance.
I think it's really easy for people to misunderstand what they're seeing. If the light that you're looking at is going in a kind of a straight line, it's probably an airplane. If it's kind of hovering and moving left and right and up and down a little bit, then you're probably looking at a drone. And it probably is under 400 feet, which means that the radar is not going to be able to track it.
Even if what's being seen is truly a drone, Nance explains, it could be one of the tens of thousands registered for civilian, commercial, or government use. And it's legal to fly those day or night in unrestricted airspace.
Unfortunately, we all make up our own stories. So if we don't have the explanation, all these people are going to have their own stories.
And they're all going to believe their own little story.
That is already happening. Social media has fueled a flood of conspiracy theories, many claiming without evidence the drones are searching for something.
We were assured, and we asked this question over and over and over again, they are not federal government operations to sniff radiation, gas, recovery, anything else.
What if you never figure out what's going on?
Just don't say that.
What if you never get an answer? And this all just goes away and nobody ever quite understands.
If they go poof, like,
yeah,
that's going to be bad. That's going to make people feel worse.
The phenomenon has prompted the FBI and other federal agencies to deploy additional resources to New York and New Jersey as a precaution to respond to the sightings. New Jersey lawmakers are still pushing for more, including the authority for state and local police to follow any potential drone or even for the military to shoot them down.
We better be really, really aggressive in deciphering who is deploying these. This isn't Amazon or some other, I mean, that's nonsense.
And there are new concerns about residents taking matters into their own hands by shooting or pointing lasers into the sky. Shining a laser at an aircraft is a federal crime.
But you think that's possible, or people are going to get so frustrated to the point that they're shooting guns into the air?
Yeah, and that's concerning.
You think we're at that point now?
I think I know that the other mayors and I are around here, and all the authorities are saying, please don't.
But even if these supposed sightings stop, Mine Hill and towns like it across New Jersey may never truly feel the same.
There are people who are going to watch this at home across the country, and some of them are going to say, that nice woman, she's seeing things. What do you say to them?
We all have video. And it doesn't matter to me what other people think. I see what I see.
A number of people seeing what she sees. Our thanks to Jay O'Brien for that. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. The FDA is redefining what qualifies as healthy food. But next, our investigation into the hidden threat lying just below our feet few may even be aware of.
On the morning of Christmas, wake up the house.
For all will be stirring, especially this mouse.
Gather the family for special holiday performances by Elton John, 17, John Legend, the cast of Descendants, The Rise of Red, Pentatonics, Anika Noni Rose, Andy Grammer, Carly Pierce, Disney on Broadway, and more.
It's a celebration
You won't want to miss.
Disney Parks' magical Christmas Day Parade.
Streaming Christmas Day on ABC News Live.
Riley's falling asleep.
Okay, crew, let's get to work.
From the world of Inside Out.
There's a lot of memories that need some extra processing, and we send those to Dream Productions.
Please, come on in.
Meet the team behind Riley's dreams.
I've been directing Dreams in Riley's mind for 10 years now.
Disney and Pixar's Dream Productions. Now available only on Disney+.
These are violent criminals, so they're not going to go down easy. Let's get this done.
Being a cop is stressful. 24/7.
Every year on the job is different. You never really stop being a rookie.
Because if we lose control, bad things happen.
Work smarter, not harder.
What makes Elton John so iconic?
Everyone's talking about
Elton John.
Sir Elton John.
Elton John.
Elton
John.
There will never be another. Everything that you want Elton John to be is.
Superstar and a legend.
Now, Elton John opens up the exclusive interview with Elton John.
I'm still standing, and I am better than I ever did. And there's a lot more to come.
Elton John, still standing. Now streaming on Hulu.
Is that my GTO? I built that 15 years ago, and somebody stole it.
Hi, Dad.
There's the thief.
Hey, kids, say hi to Grandpa. Papa! I'm crawling home because I'm broke. I need a place to stay until I figure out what the rest of my life looks like.
So, a couple of days. The last time you walked out that door, you looked back at me and gave me a double bird.
I was 18. The double bird was how I ended all our conversations. All we want is to find our way home.
I'll get you home. A crew of murderous bounty hunters is coming after us. We have to move fast.
We have no idea who he is.
You can trust me.
You're a Jedi, right?
Of course.
What just happened?
Watch this.
Skeleton Crew. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+. ABC Tonight.
It was a brazen homicide. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Manhattan is covered with cameras. And in this case, the suspect is actually a genius.
There's a story here.
It's just not that simple.
Luigi Mangione, the untold story. How did he go from honor student and Ivy League to alleged killer?
He's a handsome young person. Social media is going nuts for him. It's a made-for-TV drama.
Manhunt, Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder. Tonight on ABC.
Welcome back. Now to our ABC News Live special investigation that we've previously explored. Experts who say there's a hidden threat in at least 25 states that's not being monitored nearly enough. We're talking about millions of abandoned oil wells. They can contaminate groundwater and spew carcinogenic chemicals and harmful greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So ABC News Investigates partnered with ABC News Live and owned stations and affiliates to conduct the largest news investigation of its kind. What potential threats do these wells pose to millions of Americans? And is enough being done to fix the problem? Kana Whitworth takes us on an in-depth dive, a sneak peek of our ABC News Live investigation, Zombie Wells, The Threat Beneath.
Here, in a city that's most known for its sunny coastline and Hollywood stars, is a little-known fact. Los Angeles was once the site of sprawling oil fields. Even in its most urban areas, oil and gas wells can still be found hidden in plain sight, next to homes, or even disguised behind fake buildings. Countless more are buried beneath the city's development. Many drilled before the government kept any records. Their presence only revealed by historic photographs. And to those who know exactly where to look.
So there's another vent right next to us. They're actually a part of the fence, so they're camouflaged a little bit.
In the working-class neighborhood of Vista Hermosa, beside an athletic field located atop more than a dozen abandoned wells, these pipes, disguised as fence posts, are actually methane vents. 3 of the wells beneath remain unplugged, and the vents are designed to mitigate risks by discharging potentially harmful gas away from nearby school buildings into open areas.
There's another vent right here. This one's a lot more.
Danny Luna has lived in this community his entire life, where more than 800 unplugged and abandoned oil wells lurk beneath the surface.
As I walk to work, I would actually see the kids running along for their PE. So,
running right next to
them?
him?
Yeah, so right underneath the vents.
He and a group of residents are showing us around today.
As you can see, we have the downtown skyline. We are within walking distance of downtown LA, yet we are the dark stain in the backyard of City Hall.
Lifelong Vista Hermosa resident Rosalinda Morales has lived beside abandoned wells for more than 60 years.
I've grown up my whole life smelling rotten eggs. There was an oil mechanism in the front yard of this house. And
so you remember it?
Oh, absolutely. My family has lived on this street for almost 70 years and 3 generations. So I know it well.
Rosalinda says the residents are afraid for their health.
We have a lot of medical conditions here. We have people with autoimmune conditions, cancers.
It's difficult to prove what caused those residents' health issues, but studies show those living near oil and gas wells are more prone to such illnesses. When she was young, Brenda Valdivia was babysat by a family that lived right next to an active well. She says she's been dealing with medical issues that she believes are linked to the area's wells since she was 10.
I was getting really sick, and I had high fevers, rash in my face, and they discovered that I had lupus.
It's a devastating diagnosis. Tell me what your adult life has been like.
When I was 22, I had 2 strokes in one night, so that's hard.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering, and I take it day by day.
The wells beneath this neighborhood have leaked dangerous gases into the air here in the past. For years, Rosalinda's next-door neighbor complained to authorities about a bad smell coming from his front steps. But after nothing was done to fix it, he took matters into his own hands.
The smell was always right at the front steps, and that's why he took the jackhammer.
Oil well.
Oh, yeah. And when he opened it up, there was a slab. It looked like a tombstone.
Wow. That discovered an abandoned well that had
Correct.
H2S gas coming out?
Yes, because it smelled constantly like rotten eggs.
H2S is deadly.
Yes. Yeah, pretty scary because that's what we're breathing here.
That well, along with one across the street, was plugged by state authorities after it was discovered, but hundreds remain unplugged and mostly out of sight. But on the outskirts of the city, you can see them up close.
We're following a map to look for these abandoned oil and gas wells.
State maps show that there's a cluster of abandoned wells located on this popular hiking trail next to a residential area.
Our map shows it kind of should be right around this tree. And yeah, actually, you can already smell it a little bit. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay, so if you look at this, this is abandoned oil and gas well. It's open at the top. And so look at that. This is just full of oil, and it is just sitting here right outside of a neighborhood. Oh, it's actually bubbling. Oh, that smell is intense. Oh, there's the beep. There it is. Oh, wow. These numbers are climbing fast.
This leak maxed out our combustible gas detector.
Oh, this is at 10,000. 10,000. And imagine you could be hiking just a few feet down there on the trail. You would never even know this was here.
State records show there are at least 5 abandoned wells in this area, most drilled decades ago. Today, we find 3 wells, 2 of which are leaking.
There's another one here. It's leaking all the way through and corroded.
Inspections records show state authorities have known that some of these wells have been leaking for years. And while they're on the agency's latest list for plugging, they're behind dozens of other wells the agency has deemed more important to plug first. In response, CalGEM, the state agency responsible for regulating the oil and gas industry, wrote to ABC News that the agency is currently working through a list of 378 wells for plugging, and that these wells are a top priority and will be plugged and sealed soon to protect the environment and ensure public safety.
Properly plugging an abandoned orphan well can cost millions of taxpayer dollars. That's in part because the bonds oil and gas companies are required to post before drilling a well are rarely enough to cover the actual cost of plugging it, often leaving taxpayers to pick up the rest.
Oil and gas operators
collectively as an industry could certainly solve this problem. The industry can and must do more to make sure that this orphan well burden doesn't fall on the public.
In 2021, Congress set aside an unprecedented $4.7 billion for plugging abandoned wells nationwide. But an ABC News data analysis of multiple sources estimates the cost of plugging most of the nation's abandoned and unplugged wells could be more than $250 billion. And current government funding will only cover plugging costs for about 6% of the nation's abandoned wells.
We will take it as far as we can to try to get the cost recovered for these.
Money is always an issue, funding getting these wells removed.
There have been numerous attempts on both the state and federal level to pass laws raising the bonds required by companies to cover the plugging costs. But few have passed as they repeatedly face strong opposition from industry trade groups like the American Petroleum Institute.
The industry associations will go to legislators and regulators and say, you can't raise these bond amounts, it'll put us out of business. And the problem with that is, well, are we supposed to live with orphan wells then? Why is the public subsidizing this activity?
We wanted to get the perspective of the oil and gas industry, so we reached out to the American Petroleum Institute for an interview, and they declined.
I think the industry takes the issue of abandoned wells seriously, but they don't really like to talk about it because it's kind of a dirty secret.
API did provide a statement that reads in part, "The proper sealing of oil and natural gas wells is paramount to ensure safety, sustainability, and environmental protection, and API and our member companies are committed to responsible development of our nation's energy resources from start to finish."
The current arrangement isn't working, so we need to come up with something new.
Why not leave?
Why? Where would I be able to afford it in this city? Most of my neighbors have lived there no less than 40 years. This is our home.
They are not prepared to leave. Our thanks to Kana for that. You can stream our entire special, Zombie Wells, The Threat Beneath, at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC News Live and on Hulu after that. Still much more to get to tonight. The third grader being honored tonight after saving his friend's life. But next, are you about to hit the roads for the holidays? The massive travel crush by the numbers.
It's America's biggest countdown party of the year. Join me, Ryan Seacrest, and my co-host, Rita Ora, live from Times Square. It's Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, with epic performances by Cody Johnson, Lenny Kravitz, Teddy Swims, Thomas Rhett, Tinashe, and more. Now there's a reason to celebrate. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, live December 31st on ABC.
How many elephants have you killed? True natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world that have to be saved.
ABC Tonight.
It was a brazen homicide. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Manhattan is covered with cameras. And in this case, the suspect is actually a genius.
There's a story here.
It's just not that simple. Luigi Mangione, the untold story. How did he go from honor student and Ivy League to alleged killer?
He's a handsome young person. Social media is going nuts for him. It's a made-for-TV drama.
Manhunt, Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder. Tonight on ABC.
On the morning of Christmas, wake up the house.
For all will be stirring, especially this mouse.
Gather the family for special holiday performances by Elton John, 17, John Legend, the cast of Descendants, The Rise of Red, Pentatonics, Anika Noni Rose, Andy Grammer, Carly Pearce, Disney on Broadway, and more.
It's celebration.
You won't want to miss.
Disney Parks Magical Christmas Day Parade.
Streaming Christmas Day on ABC News Live. All we want is to find our way home.
I'll get you home. But a crew of murderous bounty hunters is coming after us. We have to move fast.
We have no idea who he is.
You can trust me.
You're a Jedi, right?
Of course.
What just happened?
Watch this.
Skeleton Crew. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+.
ABC Tonight.
It was a brazen homicide. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Manhattan is covered with cameras. And in this case, the suspect is actually a genius.
There's a story here.
It's just not that simple. Luigi Mangione, the untold story. How did he go from honor student and Ivy League to alleged killer?
He's a handsome young person. Social media is going nuts for him. It's a made-for-TV drama.
Manhunt, Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder. Tonight on ABC.
Reporting from the protests at Columbia University, I'm Stephanie Ramos. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. 'Tis the season for family gatherings, celebrations, and airport delays and traffic jams. The holiday travel crush sets off today, and it's predicted to be a big one. Here's a look by the numbers. More than 119 million people are expected to take to the roads and skies this holiday period. That's 3 million more than last year, a new record, according to AAA. Today is projected to be the busiest day to fly, with TSA expecting to screen nearly 40 million travelers between now and January 2nd. That's a more than 6% increase from last year. AAA data shows flights are 4% more expensive this holiday season than last year, with the average domestic ticket costing $830, and international ticket prices are up 13%, averaging more than $1,600. But AAA says more than 90% of holiday travelers will be driving this year. 107 million people are expected to take to the roads in the coming days. That's 2.5 million more than last year. And of course, as we all look forward to our holiday travel plans, those winter storms we've been reporting on are likely to be a serious consideration. So let's stay safe out there. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. We're sitting down with an artist who is making classical music modern in a whole new way. But first, Santa or AI, the new tech putting a spin on an old tradition.
Is that my GTO? I built that 15 years ago, and somebody stole it.
Hi, Dad.
There's the thief.
Take it, Santa Grandpa. I'm crawling home because I'm broke. I need a place to stay until I figure out what the rest of my life looks like.
So, a couple of days. The last time you walked out that door, you looked back at me and gave me a double bird.
I was 18. The double bird was how I ended all our conversations.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us.
We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day, all morning live. ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day. ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
Are you going to build it back up? And ABC News Live, lighting up the weekend.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscar Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
It's America's biggest countdown party of the year. Join me, Ryan Seacrest, and my co-host, Rita Ora, live from Times Square. It's Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, with epic performances by Cody Johnson, Lenny Kravitz, Teddy Swims, Thomas Rhett, Tinashe, and more.
Now there's a reason to celebrate.
Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, live December 31st on ABC.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an
operation. Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from...
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
The school police chief from the Uvalde Elementary School shooting is in court. The tech bringing Santa Claus to life, and one quick-thinking third grader saves the day. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown.
A Texas judge has refused to throw out criminal charges accusing the former Uvalde school's police chief of putting children at risk during a slow response to the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. Pete Arredondo argued he was improperly charged and that the shooter was responsible for putting the victims in danger. Arredondo has pleaded not guilty to 10 counts of abandoning or endangering a child, each of which carries a punishment of up to 2 years in jail. The trial is set for October next year. New rules from the Food and Drug Administration will change what foods in the U.S. can be labeled as healthy. The first update in 30 years requires that products include foods from key groups such as fruits, veggies, grains, or protein, and sets new limits for added sugars, sodium, and saturated fat. Foods like sugary cereals and white bread will lose the healthy label, while avocados, salmon, and even water can now be labeled as healthy. 2 people are dead after a horrific collision between a freight train and a semi stuck on the tracks. Video shows the moment the train came barreling through, slamming into the truck. The train then hit a building with multiple cars derailing. 3 cars were carrying potentially hazardous materials, but they were contained.
How is Mrs. Claus?
Mrs. Claus is doing great.
Yes, indeed. That's an AI Santa taking kids' questions. A company called Storyfile, not elves, used conversational video technology and hours of filmed content to create the real-time Santa interaction. The AI Santa experience is part of a fundraiser for type 1 diabetes research. The Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against CVS, accusing the company of unlawfully dispensing opioids to fuel profits. The suit alleges CVS, with more than 9,000 stores nationwide, knowingly filled invalid prescriptions for extremely high doses and excessive quantities of potent and addictive painkillers. CVS has denied the accusations.
I just heard Isaiah crying and I was just like, what's wrong? And I realized he was choking.
In a moment of bravery and quick thinking, a third grader in Mesa, Arizona saved the life of his fellow classmate. As you'll see on the school's security camera footage, Thomas Conley was seated next to Isaiah Rodriguez in the cafeteria when Isaiah began to choke on a grape. Thomas quickly noticed something was wrong and performed the Heimlich maneuver. The local fire department is recognizing Thomas as a young hero.
Our next guest is the so-called queen of classical music. Chloe Flower is a groundbreaking composer and pianist, redefining what it means to modernize the classical genre. She captivates audiences with her live performances and recently gifted the world with her renditions of some of our most beloved Christmas classics on her Chloe Hearts Christmas album. Let's take a listen. That was Carol of the Bells, co-produced with Babyface, and we welcome back to Prime the supremely talented Miss Chloe Flower. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be back.
And on a particular day, you're releasing your piano cover of Deck the Halls. What inspires you to reimagine these old Christmas carols that we're so familiar with?
You know, I love Christmas music so much, so it's very easy for me to want to do this project, but very hard for me to narrow it down. I think with Deck the Halls, I really wanted to go back to my classical roots and create this kind of Beethoven, very classical style.
And you are, of course, a classically trained musician, and yet we see you performing alongside Cardi B, Lil Baby. Is that quite a transition or a leap when you're going to perform with these mainstream musicians?
You know, I think the beautiful thing about instrumental music is that it's so diverse and you can put it anywhere. And I think that's part of why I called this term popsicle because I think oftentimes when you're an instrumentalist, you're like a classical pianist or you're a jazz pianist or you're a hip hop pianist. But, you know, I think with instrumental music, one of the reasons it's so great is that, you know, you can really play it anywhere. It's like hot sauce. You know, you can use it on anything.
That's good. That's a good analogy. I'm a food analogy person myself, so that, you broke it down. That explained it all for me right there with that one line. You've broken so many barriers when it comes to women or Asian artists in general. For young people who are up and coming, whether it's piano or beyond, what advice would you give them?
You know, I think representation really matters. When you don't see somebody doing something, it's hard for you to imagine yourself doing it. So I think one thing that I would say is to take chances and don't be afraid to ask for help.
You recently told the New York Times that at one point you had gone through this intense period of stage fright. What helped you get through that?
I've actually, I'm still working on it. So I had my own version of the twisties, and I went into a deep depression over it. And I started working with this man, Robert Andrews, who worked for many years with Simone Biles. And that's actually how I found him. And he taught me some really, really simple techniques on how to control the anxiety in not only your subconscious, but physically before a performance. And I'm still working through those things. I think the pressure of performance, but also the pressure of being perfect is not a unique thing for me in classical music.
And a lot of people can relate to that in a number of different areas, of course. You've hinted at some exciting music for 2025. Can you give us a little taste what we might expect?
Yes, this is my first time really being on my own as an independent artist. So I started my own label. I think in an industry that has been so heavily dominated by men, I wanted to, you know, try to build my own label. And this is my first release, Deck the Halls Today, on my label. And I produced a whole album. We recorded at Abbey Road with the Royal Philharmonic and the English National Opera. And it was supposed to be a Valentine's Day album, but it's all breakup songs. Oh. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. But yeah, it's a love and a heartbreak album, I guess.
Many times they go hand in hand. People will be able to relate. Chloe Flower, we thank you so much. Congratulations on all your success and having that where you're producing other people's music at this point. So exciting. We want to let our viewers know that they can listen to Chloe Flower's latest Christmas cover of Deck the Halls and other Christmas classics wherever you stream your music. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
ABC Tonight.
It was a brazen homicide. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Manhattan is covered with cameras. And in this case, the suspect is actually a genius.
There's a story here.
It's just not that simple.
Luigi Mangione, the untold story. How did he go from honor student and Ivy League to alleged killer?
He's a handsome young person. Social media is going nuts for him. It's a made-for-TV drama.
Manhunt, Luigi Mangione and the CEO murder. Tonight on ABC.
These are violent criminals, so they're not going to go down easy. Let's get this done.
Being a cop is stressful. 24/7.
Every year on the job is different. You never really stop being a rookie.
Because if we lose control, bad things happen.
Work smarter, not harder. Hey! Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in. I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara,
Ginger.
All we want is to find our way home.
I'll get you home. But a crew of murderous bounty hunters is coming after us. We have to move fast.
We have no idea who he is.
You can trust me.
You're a Jedi, right?
Of course.
What just happened?
Watch this.
Skeleton Crew. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.